Time check, 26 minutes after 2. That's Empire FM Sony. Ekosiisen Brennasen Asubio. Edjumedi Bremo live from our national studios at 355 Fanofa Street in Kokomelemle, Accra. Ma yena munyinase ensign mama kwa babio. It's a Thursday afternoon, the 8th day of July, 2021. Yet not to say at 6:30 p.m. and Edjumedi no eba every year. And for now, no. The two semi-final games now done. Now we know who and who would meet in the grand finale of Euro 2020. Basso ever Wembley in England. And Unim said England and Italy and Asia in what promises to be a very, very, very interesting game. Already, hype for that match on Sunday. Is it coming home or it's going to Rome? But you should be rest assured, say, live commentary, back-to-back coverage of that final game. Asempa 94.7 FM, so the headquarters of Ghana Sport. And mind you, say, for us here, the multimedia group, exclusive rights for this tournament, and we believe we've served you well in terms of your coverage on TV, online, and then on radio. And semi-finals, then half finals. Our man George Ado is in the UK. Or share cover event during, even before, during, and after that final game. You decide exclusive reports on all our multimedia platforms. The coverage continues unabated. We're waiting for Sunday, the grand finale. Now, Asempa FM and Adom FM team will be in Koforidua Total 2. A hundred live commentary ni be fi Eddie Abremo. Koforidua Total 2. And the Monshan is Koforidua for Baho Kwesia Day. And the more Mutie or Afima Radio so Koforidua. That's the news we have for you. And the Mabo Afima Radio, Mamena, other affiliate radio stations, no Ase, Oko Tamale, ABC Radio, Oko Salaga Kan FM, Oba Sunyane Storm FM, Oko Brekuma Gro FM, Japekro Menelaso FM, Wenchi, Yewo Iriase FM, and Afi Royal FM, Oba Akomadan, Cruise FM, Offenso Time FM, Obuasi PZ Radio, Asante Achimagogo, Yewo Adansier FM. Koforidua Fima Radio, Jokwa Bankam Radio, Sekendi Takrade Aseda FM, Oko BBN Yewo Chiame FM, Ewo Ho Enso. And me yena munyina se ne ensan mama kwaba. Mua mutie yen ewo amanone. Nyame nshramu. Your stations are amanone no edoso. Our partner stations over 123, including Golden Radio in Worcester, Hope for Life Radio in Virginia, Oko UK, Abawa Radio, Amansan Radio, Golden Beat Radio, Winners Radio, Naspa Radio, and stations are who winning Nara, ma yena munyinara ase. The production team, Dominic Kisiyeboa, Nana Chumberema, Jackson Osei in Tiamwa, Yawo Eric Opare, popularly known as DJ Yeyo. And a Queen Star in Japan. Many your sabonsu from Yobia Mejoso, Medon Mine Quabna Santens was Ansana, and you make Quahodoa or boy ma yadi Ekosiisen Ebremonso, ma yena wana say. In the sounds of our time, Agbeve Herbal Center, Momo Milk, Yara Ghana, and a Edu Motors and a boy. Me hear some segment in so EcoBank Ghana, Awake Purified Drinking Water, Rockstars Roofing Systems, Aquataps Purification Tablet, amongst the boy. Your one-on-one interviews are here, and all other interviews is why on trending issues. No, HEPA Plus Mixer, Emma Pomodeyampa, Consolidated Bank of Ghana. We stand with you, and a Mutlu battery, or say quality forever. Your discussion segment, and so Franco Trading Enterprise, phone Papa Pafie, Castrol. Or say it's more than just oil, it's liquid engineering. TCL, the creative life, dependable herbal, Omrede Adom Malakio, Abba, and a Global Lighting Center Limited in Kania Pafie. And you may quite a boy made Ekosiisen, where you say, Obi, good afternoon. Please wish my brother and husband a happy birthday and a blessed new year. Joanna Aidan, Ewo Fijai. And on the way about Joanna Aidan, Ewo Fijai, and all the way about. Thank you. This one also says, Forza Italia, it's surely coming to Rome. Hashtag Ekosiisen, Alex Martinson, and on the way about Inti. Is it coming home or it's going to Rome? That's the big question from now till Sunday. Now, actually, in my heart of heart, I mean, my heart is with England, but my mind tells me, say, I'm sure Italy might just sail through, winning this one. By England, I dear, because as we speak, no, this is the first time we final of the Euros, and almost any major trophy. 1966 was a day. India was a emotional mujiwe. Now, Omayo Biachedodo. And let's see how it goes. But I would get onto the phone lines now. Nominate the Honorable John Jenapo Edin Komo MP for Yape Kusago constituency. Enra Yedin Sembe na to my name from Parliament. Carl Lona Abronye guarantee ama MPs AJ the loan or more approval CM cars members of the Council of State, the Emoluments Committee report on Modiaba and matters arise. He is a member of the Finance Committee in Ghana's Parliament. Honorable Akwaba na pom to saying.
Bashing coastal is part of the democracy.
Yeah. And I know may share demonstration or join news. Me who say now what you watch a pana when you easy.
As a democracy and one no. As a bicycle so I'm for free. Demonstration there's
yeah. That was a good one. I'm running a machine a course in Parliament. First, one thing I generated controversy, the $28 million loan facility minister at the bar Parliament. Yate say more approval say NIB facility. More the air cars. Hun seminar at saying.
Many me that be brave. Edikan, Michia etiefo, echia will be I think but you hold on back,
no problem.
Is it clearer now?
Yeah, it's better.
And I said, feedback be for him. I think so. Mine, yen in idea, and or mine, ye and yepe. Yen so ya dia to me say yepe, kabima menkabi amamu. Intina your constitution no. Am I a three clear, distinct arms of government: executive or president. I don't know, judiciary, Justice of the Supreme Court, Appeals Court, and members of Parliament. You know, basically three arms. You know, say ye juma, na ye de some or minor. Now, by juma, so I say a mouth and who a candy. I say, what the juma. Obekaya Parliament crashes here under the fourth Republican dispensation. Now, you need officers. Like I said, those times, local Parliament, MPs, they had to just operate from or more account. And Kakra crime is a being office. Now the tradition has been that Parliament, unlike the executive and the judiciary, or minor and provide the vehicles MIA. Some are maybe a deputy minister, even though my rank is lower than a member of Parliament. Now me a bodyguard, now me a driver, now me a vehicle. Me better than MP Sani many na me nibi. Ti me me to Parliament and say ye kofu for say ne be say ye treasury nyina ye din. Na right from January you start exit your salary. Many work say ye team salary every month ye treat can be the two. Because the point is that a buying bois no me secure loan amaya. There's a rate, I think there's a flat ceiling for everybody. You can't go beyond a certain amount. I think when you mean to more than one car or so. And water na yet by 4 years now what you nearby bit my so what now that has been the practice. And that is what has come before us as finance committee. The matter say can't want them be but clearly me shut down the clear issue the problem. Maybe I will bet my boy because you know or mine na ye cry ye chechire. Is it that MP shouldn't take the loan, MP shouldn't get vehicles to work with, is it that the amount is too big, or something, so that we can then even want some fappen.
I think some of the reactions are making on social media, for example, and you know, the usual thing about, okay, $28 million, a bit messy school dying 10, a bit me at the pipeline water, koha, a bit me, I say, and all of that. And you know, sir, in the part of the world that $28 million is enough. I bet my nyoma be brain. Once it's thrown out there, amount for reaction no different, and mostly no that is the comparison and for what that money could have done in providing other things for the ordinary people.
Thank you. That means that you are setting the ball within the right context that you bet man discussion. The engine yaka 28 million because we are 275 and I'm in boy.
Yes.
So let's look at the number as well. If it's the amount in a dose one, do we need 275 MPs? That's the first question I think Ghanaians should be asking. Can't 100 MPs do an effective job if we provide them with the proper working equipment in terms of research assistant, secretary? Because I'm more interested in the research aspect. For instance, finance committee can't have somebody from University of Ghana as attached to me who is very good with cranking figures, modeling and all that. Now, simulation be pray. It is true. What about the judiciary? Should we give them vehicles as well? So, buying better vehicles, appointing ministers. Should we get them vehicles as well? So that if we're taking a collective decision, so look, 4 years, young top vehicles. That is one. Number two, it's not like we need a loan. So when you mention, my starting here. You can look at my payslip since January. My starting or more TTA. Say, ABA vehicles. I say my young talk so that it cuts across board. So that all Article 71 office holders, Chief Justice to below, you see, a few way there, Nyama Yede, Munina Mamon Toka, more appointing new judges, or more managers, MPs are mobile for Ebi free Jirapa, Ebi free Navrongo. A mamon top vehicles. And now, yes, you Sikano, Yamamu, a lower figure. Now, Mubetia, in any case, that's the first. It's not like other Article 71 office holders are here, Tokano, Amu Yusua, Na Ebiamokwa. Sometimes the auction, sometimes government takes it back. So that we can get the perspective properly. But I welcome all this discussion. Mona Modia Ho say Yanya Jumamamu. Say, other complaints about MP on visited. Because me know because this week I have to drive to the constituency and work and come back. I'm sure some of my constituents will also be happy say make me back safely and go back safely. But how can we draw a middle line? Ebeboa on my money honorable
for the appreciation
let's
of
put it within the right perspective.
For the appreciation of the public, maybe step by step. Number one, let's say this $28 million, a loan facility from NIB, EBA MPs, about government, like guarantee for you, the MPs, right?
The MPs is on lending. Because normally these banks, if you go individual MPs, it may not work well for you. In fact, in some jurisdictions, your top vehicles, no MPs. In some, your mouth fuel. Me na me tuya me driver. Me na me to me fuel. Me minister na me to me fuel. Na me tuya me driver. But now as MP, me tuya me driver. Me to me fuel. Car no me na me service. Me MP. Mileage ni drive the car never call. You pay me garage na baby you crack car no. Na o ma service ba we me na me di me sika be ye. E na sika we so aye ka no. Many workers are starting a year every month. And when you look at the amount, it's not a small amount.
And even before you get the money to buy the car, no must start it too.
Because you must pay it within the 4 years.
Within the 4 years.
Check it. Say, Abia, say, na mubetia, Abia buying, and your mother's case, say. Total amount, yes, say, by 4 years, no. When you put it in the system, it will compute and say, then, basic salary, no. every month. You see, you take this amount. And a year, you sign as MPs. Someone starting to see it, say a drawer.
Ekosiisen
Now, that is the arrangement. So, Ghana for the pennies are.
But the contingent liability, no, yeah, on government, no.
I have to check that. But once government is guaranteeing, no, I suspect that government would have to capture that as part of the liability. But in our debt management strategy, especially the medium to long term, no, you are looking at your ability to pay. That is the issue with debt. Japan's debt to GDP is over 100%. Ghana's debt to GDP is around 80%. And so it's not just your debt as a percentage of your GDP, but the revenue that you're able to generate with that GDP. That is, I mean, you own 2 acres. All the fertilizer government, you need 10 bucks. Maybe 5 acres. Because I mean for fertilizer government, maybe 7 bucks. Even though I have a bigger farm, no, the revenue that I'm generating, and I will make us say, the payment has already even started.
Yeah, I started. But in default, well, no, in default, the government will have to step in. And as there are other arrangements, a bit to take care of that.
But this is not the first time we are doing it. And we've done it for so many years. There's never been this kind of default.
Okay.
And as you practice in finance, there's consistency. You are a regular customer. Your risk level begins to come down. I don't know if you get my point.
Yeah, I get you.
And I can tip from source. And yes, MP Ukwadia. Now would the best no be the call. And only yet right from source. And you know, the default, you know, with the greatest of respect, and not to sound like it's not that high.
How about Omuebeka say, for example, Samefawu as an example, this is your second term in the House. You were part of the 7th Parliament. And like I say, this is an arrangement, I want to believe, say, in the 7th Parliament, munya a similar arrangement, why would you need another car?
I used the car for the past 4 years. Makono Faba, say, me state of car, no? And the cost of maintenance is to say air corner. And I wish you could see my car. It's registered 2017. Who said your car after 4 years, he may say your mekoya pekosogoba campaign time, committee meeting, the way I move it now. Send me loan, even if not through government, through any
other means.
Other way. I'm a talker on better just like mortgage.
Yeah,
I'll do it. I would wish to do that. But like I said, normally it's a government and our parliament as a body. I can't that's what more negotiate here. It reduces cost, it reduces time, you can get better rates and all those things, especially when you have 275 MPs. When you are negotiating on their rather than say MPB negotiate. So even the first question, say, should MPs be taking loans to buy their cars, or the state should provide vehicles for their
the next leg of me way this because maybe Constitution Article 71 I'll come there, the next leg of our discussion. No, but now my final question on this, and it's with this loan, no, say back, do you pay with interest? If yes, how much?
I don't know about that because normally documented by the finance committee cracker said we should take it back. In fact, some members said in confidence, no, let me say they didn't even see why we should be taking loan, and that state ajuma. So the state should provide a vehicle, say 7 years or 8 years old. Or say state for so much change here, but that is another issue altogether. I know that sometimes the interest to do or minor FYN. I mean, let's be frank with each other. Because Ejuma no minor Juma and you know, some of you also questions that look, MPs grow more value in saying. Only saying as well.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think that's something that we should be addressing as members of parliament. Say Ejuma na how do we save the state? I recall when I was in parliament the issue of PDS, the issue of Ameri, the issue of Ajapa, several other issues. We have to do a lot of research. Some of them you have to pay on your own to get information in order to serve the state. And you know, Parliament itself, I think we should be engaging the people now. Ghana for the value and even the use of Parliament. Do they even need Parliament, or you don't even need parliament at all, so that the president Pebiano now will approve it at cabinet level. And the numbers, because inherent, okay, many sure an argument because you are talking of figures, you are talking of huge sums of money, and also be mostly 28,000 a dozen. In the Yatana, you can imagine maybe 280,000 bish, and then you 50. So all the discussions are good, but I think that let's put them within the right perspective and make suggestions and the way forward. Because then the question is, okay, the MPs no, DNA be yomo, yenja omosa, let's get some alternative discussions. The criticism that I can understand. I mean, as for MPs, we always receive a lot of bashing, but I think, sir, we can also make suggestions as to how we can serve you, the people of Ghana, including other workers.
The other thing may answer about Article 71 and whether you should be giving free cars or you should be giving loans. Now, that's a discussion I have interest in. But may back of the envelope calculation, 28 million divided by 275. That is 101,880. Yemfan is $100,000 each. Is that what you are getting?
I'll check the figure, but that would then mean that it's about $25,000 a year, That is the loan. Just that because you need to buy a car, what you do is you take it up front, buy it, and then they spread the repayment. And then let's also look at other best practices. We have other countries around us. We have countries within the sub-region, within the continent, and the world at large. How are their MPs taken care of? How are their judiciary taken care of? How are their ministers? Even the president. The president of the republic, how is he taken care of? Must he use a Land Cruiser? Must all this? But of course, because people vote directly for MPs, and you go to them every time to ask for their mandate. Constituency is a problem, but the first person they call is the MP and not the DC, even though the DC represents the president in the constituency. All these issues, I welcome them. If the general consensus is that Debbie MPs here, I'll discuss it and find a way out.
And no better way, but I just heard say when you get the money eventually, maybe out the talk car no on a bar, you don't pay duty on the cars. Is that the case?
Yes, like every other government vehicle. You don't pay the duty. I mean, and even sometimes, hotel Pullman, gave them $25 million tax waiver. Private entity, I fought it and Speaker Krama may withdraw, like I say, it became a big issue. One individual, business, a private person, not an MP, $25 million. 275 was 28 million. So that is the arrangement. Chief Justice for appeals court, high court judge, there's no duty on it. They don't pay anything. They are giving the vehicles, they are giving drivers. Ministers, vehicles, me deputy minister, me Honda Accord, there was no duty on it. You use it, you are given a driver. So I'm beginning to ask, maybe because I wasn't MP, at that time I didn't really appreciate it. Until me somebody MP, then would say, hey, that means every month, driver nature was a Utiano, security man nature was a Utiano. Oka every week, as a Oko fillet, fuel very 400, and now Oko Yapeko Sogwa by an idiot. Bobo, only driver no call Parliamentary Select Committee meeting outside Accra. I have to pay for his accommodation at Koforidia. May the next year call where Johnny Renema. You be drew here, no coffee. I've also get him something small to also go home. And, when you are not a member of Parliament, sometimes you wouldn't appreciate. It's not that easy. Of course, some people are not even in our position. They are not privileged like ours. But the truth is that I've been a minister before. I'm now a member of Parliament. And I'm seeing the difference. It's glaring, it's wide, it's really significant. I mean, that's what
I said, you know, OSHA Article 71, and the officers captured here, and it was the Speaker, Deputy Speakers, Members of Parliament, Chief Justice, other justices of the Superior Court of Judicature from High Court, Appeals Court, and the Supreme Court, Auditor General, Chairman and Deputy Chairman of the EC, SHRAJ, Commissioner, and then the deputies, District Assembly Common Fund Administrator, Chairman and Vice Chairman of the National Council for Higher Education, Public Services Commission, National Media Commission, and the Land Commission, the Chairman, Vice Chairman, and other members, and National Commission for Civic Education. And so now President, Vice President, Chairman, and other members of the Council of State, Ministers of State, and Deputy Ministers. And these category of Ghanaians in the form Article 71. Of all of them, no, members of Parliament pe enamwa muji loan tomo cars, right?
That is it. Yeah, pena you your drivers. Yeah, pena you pay your fuel. Yeah, pena you service your car. But because your numbers, no, and I keep going back to the numbers. 275. Or they multiply the BR per once I can. Can the state buy 275 vehicles for members of Parliament? And I tell you, most of these Land Cruisers, Opa check it for ministries. Almost every 4 or 5 years, they change them. Opa check it. You check. You check from the ministries. So that is the reality. I mean, we all must sacrifice. If the loan can be used for something else, it only means I also save my money and maybe use it for something or BB. But when it's a loan and the state is facilitating with a private bank like NIB and maybe giving some other small adjustments, like your car said, duty and maybe the interest, you know, that is what it is. If Ghana Forging say we don't deserve it, well, let's discuss it. If there's consensus, I'm sure at leadership they will take a decision. But like you said, amongst all this in what kind, only members of Parliament pay. And all this, and I think so, it's also born out of our history. Because anytime there's a disruption in government, MPs, in the Parliament as an institution, any time and develop it, the judiciary will always be there, even in a military regime. The executive will be there. A lot of these lands, commissioning, administrator, but mostly no, the MPs no. Bibi Boni Biaba Yeni Kofi. And then 2, we virtually, ministers don't go for campaigning, ministers don't go promising. Yeni Koya campaigning, promise it. You know, as a result of that, we naturally become the target and
the soft target. But the other thing here, Council of State members, what Parliament at Kakra, has there been a case loan facility Abasi they talk as a Council of State members?
I think so. I think in the last Parliament they did the same thing for them, except that I don't think that they would repay. Government takes loans to buy vehicles all the time. All the time. Almost the loan facilities, but sometimes 20 million, sometimes 50 million loan to buy vehicles for the state, just like Council of State. But to the best of my knowledge, and I'll just check from, I'm extracting the document. I'm not sure some members of Council of State yet to see almost any team.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, because also no under Article 71. And if
exactly.
All the other members they enjoy free cars, they are why not them?
Exactly.
But it's something we can still find out. Then the other thing, and because you were part of the 7th Parliament, I think you are the best person when you were on the Finance Committee at the time. We've been looking at this story on the Emoluments Committee. What we know so far is that in June 2019, President Akufo-Addo set up a 5-member Emoluments Committee, like all other presidents do when omo term a year, to make recommendations to him and to Parliament on the salaries and allowances payable and the facilities and privileges available to Article 71 office holders. Yenim se chairperson of that committee na Professor Intiamwa Bedu na former majority leader and Minister for Parliamentary Affairs Abraham Osei Edu, CEO of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission Dr. Edward Kwapong, current Director General of the Internal Audit Agency Eric Odru Osai, former Managing Director of Dunwell Life Insurance Mrs. Stella Segbawu, and ana members of this committee. Omo terms of reference na mienu to make recommendations in respect of emolument and other privileges for Article 71 office holders as specified under the Constitution, and also to examine any other relevant matter which the committee deemed appropriate to its work. Me pacho sa committee omo di omo report there was about parliament because Article 71 and so 2 no clear. Say, okay, I think Article 71 1D or say shall be determined by the president on the recommendations of a committee of not more than, and these are the core more parliamentarians, ne chief justice, ne are there. Then there was a report never before parliament, Emma Parliament, Ejitum. This committee report, no, by 7th Parliament, no.
The crux of the matter, and it's first of all, I hold the view that the president is not obliged to even review those emoluments and allowance in the But like you said, in June, and I think I have the date here, and President inaugurated a 5-member committee, 2019. I recall, say a day or two, I think, another day now you're rising from Parliament, you know, and I reporting about it. That time now, NDC Lusu election my yaya wada. Okay, see a year some or yet be brave, Kramanka, ye charge us at the upper court. Into your mobile breno, na yaswaya shikakra. And normally, when these things come, there's a lot of discussion. And I recall at one of the meetings over this matter, people raised issues. Because the first thing is whether the first lady and the second lady falls under Article 71. I mean that from all the year married so far, no, I can't see say they fall under that. And I recall one of our lawyers raised that, and at committee of the whole, no, so they decided they will engage further. Beyond that,
maybe BBS. Ain't said ya work on the final day na Mobabe rise 7th Parliament no and a committee report na eba monim. Is that the case?
Either a day or two, but the very last days, no.
Okay.
Near rise. That means you close to Parliament.
Okay.
One would have expected that since the committee was inaugurated somewhere June 2019, at least within 1 year, they would have finished, brought it to Parliament. Now, enough time to discuss it. And sometimes we do a lot of consultation as well. But with just a day or two to rise, I hold the view that it was just too close, too tight, especially when some of us were involved in even the election disputes and all that,
but JJ, some of you guys have a certain record. I mean, you are people who don't fear to state your position sometimes in the media and all of that. And there have been instances, you've had cause to organize quick press conferences and all of that. We didn't hear any such thing. Time I report, because I would want to believe, say, a bar speaker, Nsaka, he referred same to the finance committee or any other.
No, I think it's referred to the committee of the whole, not
the committee of the whole. Fantastic.
If it was referred to the finance committee, I would have sat in that meeting.
Okay. In the core committee of the whole, no, I would want to believe that there were some minority members, there were some majority members. We did not hear a word about more disagreement about certain portions of the report or otherwise.
It was a fair comment. That's a very fair comment from you. And I have maintained, say, look, this issue of bringing the report the very last days when we are rising, especially after we've finished elections, it's not helpful. That is number one. Number two, These are committee members of Obom. They say, they are not kids. Oma being a quadrimupa. How they even manage to suggest Yemfa Emaimienu Enkahono is another matter. But I also hold the view that even Parliament, Senka, Adeni Bantem, Yenya, and Yeshe Muya would have had enough time to scrutinize that bulky document and then raise issues as any what kind like we've always done with some of these issues. Because with the greatest of respect, who could share President Akufo-Addo salary? Other benefit me, John.
So, what is your understanding of that recommendation and what used to be the status quo? So, recommendation, no, is it say allowances are ebia umutria emma first ladies and a second ladies and no na afiomon formalize and now say just these two, Rebecca and Samira pe. What's your understanding of that recommendation?
My understanding is that before this committee report, they were not being paid any salaries. That is the first thing. So that is settled.
What were they being paid? Then I need to
I don't work at finance ministry. I don't work at the presidency. I'm saying that as far as parliament was concerned, no, we never had any inclination. They were on salaries. Now we are talking of salaries, and I mean,
yeah.
And the salary is completely different from some allowances that they give you. For instance, if Parliament has a program, now will be you say wabi will be bimokakra. Near Mauba, bit make sure allowance for Jumana Wabayano. That is different from salaries. So that's why I'm distinguishing the two.
But did you know, Sir Ebia, former first ladies and former second ladies, including Omuewoho Sisiano, were paid allowances at the end of the month? Now unim sadiano.
Minim, I wouldn't know.
You never knew of that.
Oh, no, I wouldn't. And it will be very difficult for me to know, especially from where I work. If I'd worked from Minister of Finance or work directly as Chief of Staff or Deputy Chief of Staff, then I will know. But I won't be surprised. Say, for instance, you commission one of the FPSOs. President Akufo-Addo yire ne koye anamebua.
Yes.
Na say wakoshe Ghana ni monyam ho. Na say ye tua no some allowance. I won't be surprised, even though I don't know. And I wouldn't find it unusual or abnormal.
Okay, because there is this write-up going around, supposedly from Nana Atoda, the former Chief of Staff, and it makes the point around August, September 2000, the Parliamentary Hansard capture BB about a special arrangement put out to, get something for former first ladies and the current ones, and the same for second ladies, and they are there. And we heard from Honorable Kojo Pong Kroma say this is nothing new. Allowances that we've been paying since 2001, but they just decided to formalize it, and that's how come committee this our recommendation.
When we are doing that, let's do that in accordance with law.
Okay.
If we decide I want to bring some bill and some amendments, say, look, your first is almost boy. And let's face it, make our Lordina Foundation say, a Juma wa Yama Ghana, so quantify me sure say, Ubetimetriano. Intino Yamfa Emra Quanso, Nayanya. Some people may disagree, like 10 year MPs, thereby claim. But I'm sure say some level of, excuse my language, reasonability would come in and say, look, says your boy, my Yamboa or money MPB Kakramomo at the end of the month. The problem, and I've heard Professor Kwesi H. Prempemo also talk, is that when you bring some committee recommendation under Article 71 and you embed them under Article 71, is that what you've read from the report? And as I will can't H. Kwesi Prempe, because you are seized with the report because that's what you approved. And only the kind free report name. But the report had a mandate, and the mandate of the report was Article 71.
Yes, I agree to that.
That's
but
all.
The American
so anything about First Lady and Second Lady under Article 71, I'm saying that as a member of parliament, no, I would have expected, say, maybe government would have taken some other steps to regularize it in accordance with law. But I'm not even a lawyer. I'm speaking as a member of parliament and as a lawmaker. I've even just read, say, Abronye Kurade Supreme Court. I don't know how true it is.
It's true.
So I'm sure the Supreme
Court
will settle that matter.
Yeah. No, but my point is, say, yes, the committee and the constitution is clear. Say committee need your report, but before same is implemented, no, it will need parliamentary approval. As we speak, the Parliament of Ghana has approved this report. And barring any, counter decision from the Supreme Court, no, this report would have to be implemented. And what did Parliament approve? In that report about no, committee ne kadeng specifically say yenye emfama first ladies and second ladies.
Let me reiterate that the first committee meeting at the committee of the whole was a day or two before Parliament closed. When the report was brought, all these issues were raised, and I recall someone said they would do further discussion and get back to us. From then, no, I wasn't in the chamber, or is it a committee of the whole, no. So it will be very difficult to give you the fine details of it. That's all I can say about this matter. I've gone further to say, committee, no, these are distinguished people. And they had to deal with Article 71. And so if they wanted to deal with first ladies or former first ladies, I hold the view, say, they shouldn't have brought it under that Article 71 report, which Kojo Oponkroma himself hasn't denied from the government's point of view. That has not been debunked. All he has tried to say, look, as I'm a year first ladies and former first ladies, just that we've tried to harmonize it and make it formal. That is subject to our debate. We can debate it. But my point is that they are not Article 71 holders. And let's distinguish that clearly.
Yeah, and the Supreme Court eventually will be seized with all the facts and will give a ruling.
Certainly.
Because terms of reference, the second one is that they are also to examine any other relevant matter which the committee deemed appropriate to its work. But let the Supreme Court decide on whether there was some
But you see, with the greatest of respect,
first ladies and second ladies, you mean?
Do we give them, does the state provide them with vehicles?
I should think so.
Does the state provide them with security? When they travel, who pays for their trip? So that we discuss these matters in a holistic manner. But I still maintain, look, the attempt to bring them under Article 71 is not the right thing to do.
Yeah, but it's not being right, no? And I think, and that is where JJ maybe would depart, because it's not being right, no? Say the American, this thing should be subject to the approval of Parliament. And there is nothing to show on record, say, parliamentarians be, and now say the minority, and now say some members of the majority, standing up against this. In fact, as we speak, no, some MPs don't even know the fine details of the report. So what did they approve?
You know why? Because, like I said, you can't bring such a bulky document on a day or two that Parliament is rising. And that is not fair to us. Then we're rising. That is one. Two, I agree with you that as members of Parliament, you can ask these questions of us. So why did this happen? But more importantly, look at the hazard or the report. There's a report, and everybody's comment would have been captured by the table office. So where's our report? No one who in Sema making. And I recall Honorable Muntaka in particular raised a lot of issues that you know your MPs. Sometimes I don't believe that you should try and behave like a saint and push your colleagues. No. So criticism about you know Zoom. Not say you be free man. And you know, I'm not going to try and push it on this person or that person. But who read the report now, you would have realized there were real concerns. But the key issue is that we are building a nation. What is the way forward? Is it normal that 1 day or 2 days before Parliament rises, these things are brought to us? Can't we decide that, look, following this, let's set a timeline. Say, look, 6 months before the end of the government's tenure, this thing should be settled. So that if there is a need to debate it, we debate it. And yes, sir, matter. Okay, President, for time, this debate by.
Yes.
Say, yes, yes, problems, a man, you see, man, no, DND library, Bibre, Chaka, President Mama time, the same thing, and so about. I'm rather looking at taking concrete decisions via a boy in terms of the timeline. If we even want to publish it or publicize it, let's do that. Maybe Parliament might have to advertise it for people to see, or the way the committee is set up. And that's idea. We'll do a lot of blame games, and next 4 years we'll come back.
We'll be in the same situation,
blaming each other.
Yeah, the Ama Maye a bit concerned, and it's because as we speak, for even some of us as journalists, any parliamentary correspondents near they don't even know the details of the report. The amount.
Have you seen the report?
I have not seen it. I have not seen it. I have not seen it. I mean, our parliamentary correspondent have been tasked. Say, Omunya detail. In this people are throwing numbers about in on social media, especially. And we don't have the benefit of the report itself. And I thought, say, maybe, just maybe, members of parliament could help us. Because you see, for me, the thorny issues I was here settle and say, what specifically did the committee say? In the ABIS, committee were tasked to decide on the emolument of Article 71 office holders. Did they specifically say, we are recommending, say, Yama First Lady, any Second Lady, Mayor, Article 71 office holders? And that has to be settled. Number two, so when they say, did they also say you decided to say a bit more salary, say at the end of the month, is it for just the two and I say cover all former first ladies and second ladies? I would want to believe the committee will put that in the report. Into all these things, here specifics and how much are we talking about? No.
It's a committee report.
Do you have the committee report?
I don't have it. If I had it, I'll give it to you.
But the committee report came to the plenary, no?
It came for discussion. And we're briefed as to what is in the committee report.
And what was in the committee report? Briefing,
I'm saying that bulky document, I didn't get the whole bulky document to read.
Yeah, but you had the committee report.
No, that committee report is a document.
So you brief you.
You're not getting my point. Yes, at the committee of the whole, normally somebody leads the discussion, tells you the work they did, the recommendation they made, will make some comments and ask that they should work on it and get back again. I'm saying the second meeting, I wasn't in that meeting because Parliament was rising. We had finished the elections and it was a bit heated at that time. That is what has happened. But going forward, no. I even don't want us to belabor. Yes, argue.
Yeah.
If the report is available, I'm sure Parliament is an institution. It's not even John Jinapo as an individual. What if I didn't win in the previous election? You should be able to go to Parliament, go to the Hansa department, or go to the table office or the class office. And as a journalist, request, say, look, can we get a copy of this committee report? If they say that it's strictly confidential, we can't give it to you, then it's another matter. And I am working to go to the constituency tomorrow to do some constituency work. So Meko table office work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think that it's fair to also help the public in shaping the discussions.
That's why I've agreed to this interview.
Yeah. I know.
I've agreed. And I can tell you what I know, where we can get to, and also mindful of the fact that I'm an MP. I have to be cautious with my commentary. let me be clear on that. Any Bibiana MP, I don't know if you get my point.
Yeah, I get you.
To the best of my knowledge, this is what I can say on this subject matter, and also make recommendations. I'm sure some people also Ghana for also station there it goes very, very wide. Others will also come with counter views. Others will also even criticize us as MPs. Say be a buy and engage mubogu. Mokasho one day pay and approve it. Monko. These are all comments that all of us should take on board. I cannot be 100% right, and I can't be the only saint in Parliament or the best MP in Parliament.
Yeah.
All of us will have our shortcomings. We learn from it. We build on that, and then we build this nation. So that's what I can say on this subject matter.
There's a debate. I think you're best saying in Komobio.
But I will try and see if I can follow up on the document. Then you will get your second. But I suspect by now, what did
we intercept you. But Ekosiisen high Asempa 94.7 FM. Ma minyina homane sona mene founding president of Imani eni enkomo ora Franklin Kujo. Franklin akwaba na apomu ye de.
Ekosiisen
me adom me hoye papa menim se enkomo ana me ne John Jinapo edi se utimi etie bia, but basically no yaka nsem bebre first from the car loan our finance minister presente our parliament agitumu from NIB for parliamentarians to purchase vehicles. Na Omasan Yetria back. Yaka Council of State, the Yababeka Emoluments Committee report on what they call Parliament. This whole discussion, no, it was saying.
Well, as you know, Obiaye Juma Yetianeka. I mean, that's fundamentally what we all know. I think I'd like to start from the issue of the emoluments of the first and second league. Now, media want to say, look, these persons have been taking allowances for God knows when anyway. I'm in the middle of this, that defining proper rules of them and then pay them for it. Because whatever it is that we are discussing right now, at the end of the day, they've been taking the money anyway. I mean, that's not enough justification. But the fact of the matter is that, see, this conversation somehow, if you don't take care, you may appear as a sexist or someone who doesn't value the work of spouses. Or women. See, so, and far from it, we should not emotionalize the conversation. I think, sir, media, the Emoluments Committee's mandate should have been expanded to include, if it is the case, these spouses ought to be remunerated properly. Then we must define rules for them, because, as you know, they are supposed to be paid as cabinet ministers, which presumably means that cabinet ministers have specific roles they perform. So it is important for us to legitimize it.
Yeah, the fact about they being paid as cabinet ministers, no, is that what is captured in the report? Is that the committee's recommendation?
Well, I think I'm relying on what has been variously discussed. The fact of the matter is that if they'll be paid at all, it definitely would
Ekosiisen on
some particular level. Whether it's between the presidency and then the ministers, somewhere along the way they'll be paid anyway.
Yeah.
Which makes it convincing that they definitely will be considered as members of Article 71 office holders. So the fact of the matter is that if we've decided that this is what we want to do, then we might as well give them specific duties, specific roles to perform. I mean, I guess that's the only way we can address this matter. But to make it look as if because they are spouses, they do not matter, I'm not too sure we can go on that particular tangent. I would rather suggest that we give them specific duties. We can hold them to account if they do not perform. And then we know that we've given them tasks they have to perform and hold them accountable. Yesterday I was in a conversation with Honorable Kukwati and then Dr. Mefo. And I think it was clear from what Honorable Kukwati was saying that, look, already these entities receive some form of money anyway. He even supposed somehow fears that if we do not make it and give them specific rules, they may be taking more than necessary or more than needed from the public purse by way of allowances. So I think it's important that we give them specific duties and then let them take the salaries, and then they account for it as well.
But the other thing, based on a recommendation, which I largely agree to. In fact, Professor Ekosiisen Prempeh goes further to say, once we pay them that, we formalize the payment, then we now recognize them as public officers properly so-called. So then they also come under the asset declaration regime and all of that. And that maybe would be a top-up to the recommendation you just gave, no?
Oh, without a doubt, because you see, once we recognize them as such and they declare their assets, then it will be difficult for them to be used as, should I call it, for lack of a better word, to be used as maybe pseudonyms or some sort of code names for siphoning some proceeds from the public purse. That's not to suggest that the current president or the presidents will do that, but it's in a way saves everybody the whole problem of trying to find out who owns assets, whether the president has registered any assets in the spouse's name or not. I think it's a fair idea, and I support it entirely.
The other point, Franklin, will be, sir, OSHA conversation, say they okay, and say they already paid something anyway. We are told, sir, since August 2000, and payment started for
that one. I disagree.
You disagree with when the payments began or
when it should start? I think there are two things we are confusing ourselves with. The allowances due from the former first ladies should not be equated to salaries per se. Because
but that's not my question, frankly. My main question anyway. My question then is in line with the fact that yema or more rules, specific rules. Say the beya yetua or more car, ni enimsi yetua or more car for something. No. Now my question is this payment will not just be to the sitting first lady or the sitting second lady. Ebeko to former first ladies, former second ladies. Are you saying say omonso no? Yema omonso specific rules ana?
No. You see, in the case of the former first lady, you see, we are defining something that has just come up, and we want to give specific reasons for which we are giving salaries, not allowances. Former first ladies, yes, if the state decides that they'll be giving something, so be it, allowances. But I think that because we are discussing salaries from the get-go for first and second ladies, I think there's a clean sheet we want to start from. And so I'm not too sure that we have to be giving them the same, we should be treating former first ladies and giving them salaries and probably backdating them. My two question in here, but I thought you were referring to the fact that the current spouses are even supposed to take the accumulated
no. That was not the question. No.
Good. Maybe I was jumping the gun. But I also thought that if that was also part of the package, I think it's unfair because you see, we are now deciding that this is what we want to do and do it properly. I do not think it's right for them to be giving salaries
that's back pay.
Since 2017.
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
I get you. And in principle, no, you support the fact that let's formalize this thing, get them the salary, but get them specific rules to play for which we can hold them to.
Yes, of course, we have to. Look, my senior vice president, Kofi Bento, gives a scenario. Say we do not do what we are suggesting we do, by giving them formal roles and specific. And say one decides that, well, I'm not interested in this first lady job. Or as a first lady, I'm not interested in going to functions, going to all sorts of places with you. I rather sell at Makola, sell clothes at Makola. You know, the security detail, the number of people that will be employed in order to take care of the to and fro of the first lady or the second lady. But as well, if we take into consideration how much money we'll be paying to get to do that, but as well as formalize this rule and give them specific duty, and then we save ourselves all this trouble. I think it's better to give them specific duties so that they are accountable.
Yenimse for former president, no, the state pays them and almost members of their office. Cars are changing more rent allowance, and it's a whole package for former president. If we want to formalize the role of the first lady and the second lady, former first ladies, former second ladies, no, said Yema former president, why shouldn't we do same for them? It is a Yema sitting first lady, ABR salary sayer. That same salary should be given to the former first lady in Swana.
Well, I mean, once we formalize it, what it means is that they will definitely be treated as such. I mean, there are no two ways about it. The fact of the matter is we are now beginning, per some of the suggestions we are making, we think that once we formalize this enterprise properly, then they'll be treated as such. So it's not a question of being treated because you are a former first lady before this rule or law came into play. If we did the right thing by legitimizing it, formalizing it, then what it means is that after they retire, well, if the state decides that's the way they'll be treated, so be it. Really. Because they would have performed functions that would have brought some significance to the state. By the way, by suggesting that they should be given specific rules, should not mean we should just conjure any type of rules. There must be value addition, value driven as well.
Yeah. I get that point. The other thing here, car loan for members of parliament. I mean, I just spoke to John Janapo, and they are even now thinking along the lines, why should they be the only Article 71 office holders or mono state name on car, also muji loan to car, no mutia back and all of that. Legitimate concerns, no?
Well, as I understand that is a loan, I don't know if any MPs have defaulted on this loan ever. And if they've defaulted, we should probably find out. It will depend on the whether it's a concessional arrangement that they are getting these loans at such rates that are very sumptuous than the rest of us. Maybe that's something which we could discuss. But so far as it's a loan and it's not a gift, I think that there really isn't any major issue around that at all. It is the case that we have established proof that Omufai and Omuntia, then maybe that could be an issue. Of course, people have also talked about the timing of this type of information, given the fact that everybody is getting up their loins and all of that. I would think that those MPs who are returning, who did not have to, were not defeated in Parliament, because they've already received the first tranche of the loans, I think it would be wise on their part not to receive them. So I don't know whether it goes for everybody, irrespective of whether you've taken the first or second.
No, I'm told it's a facility, so it's not compulsory. Opa, no wakwa.
Oh, if it's not compulsory, then that's the point. So it's not compulsory, and it's a loan, so you pay back.
Yeah, absolutely. The other point, and because Amanfo be at the Eco Supreme Court as we speak on the locus of the committee to even make the recommend, and I'm talking of the Emoluments Committee, to make the recommendations they made. Omufi said they acted ultra virus, the provisions in Article 71 of the Constitution. Minim, what do you think?
I have a feeling that that specific action could succeed because, clearly speaking, they were given the mandate to look into, review the emoluments. And then somehow along the line, this was thrown at them. If they had made specific, if they've also been asked to make specific recommendations as to the roles that these spouses would perform, then probably we are talking about something else. But as it stands, just throwing them amongst the Article 71 office holders, just like that, and suggesting that they be given a salary, doesn't cut it for me.
But may share more terms of reference, no Franklin. First, Eka said they were charged to make recommendations in respect of emolument and other privileges for Article 71 office holders as specified under the Constitution, and also to examine any other relevant matter which the committee deemed appropriate to its work.
Yes, but then it's become a contentious issue.
Yeah.
Now that it's become a contentious issue, the question is whether these persons are duly bound or duty bound to receive salaries. Don't forget, this is a matter of public funds. So any other matters could have been advised. It couldn't have been the fact that they were taking decisions that would compel the taxpayer to, pay additional funds for no reason.
But how about the point that they also just gave a recommendation? The committee just gave a recommendation, which was subject to approval from Parliament anyway.
Well, I'm saying that recommendation that the spouses should be paid without due regard to the specific duties they were going to perform, for me was an offside goal. Really, I don't think they were supposed to do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a recommendation, and it was not necessarily they were not bound. The state was not bound to take it. But now that the state and the president has given directives that this should be done, and I think Parliament did so as well. That's why I'm saying that the next stage for us is to discuss exactly what
they will be doing.
Because you can't just say that somebody should receive a salary but no specific work done. And more so to even be paid accumulated salaries for no work done.
I hear you. Frankly, you better see BBNia will come back and talk again. Why?
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, that's it. And the Franklin Kujo, your founding president, Imani Africa, and Motene Kalabat. On the point I think JJ raised about Abronye heading to the Supreme Court. And Abronye, the Bono Regional Chairman of the NPP, and just not him, there are two NDC MPs in Swa Omonso Eko Supreme Court, Honorable Clementa Park and Honorable Roxanne Dafia Mekbo. Mensa Aka, I think the writ from Abronye, and I'll read that for you. Or say in the Superior Court of Judicature, in the Supreme Court Accra, AD 2021, writ to invoke the original. Original, no, Elni Chatwana Mao, Supreme Court writ, Elna, it's stamped anyway. Okay. Original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, pursuant to Articles 21 and 131 of the 1992 Constitution and Rule 45(1) and 2 of the Supreme Court Rules 1996 CI 16, between Kwame Bafo at Abronye, the house number was plaintiff, versus Attorney General defendant. Now, I say, in the name of the Republic, you are hereby commanded within 14 days after the service on you of the statement of the plaintiff's case inclusive of the day of service, that you are to file or cause to be filed for you a statement of the defendant's case in an action of the suit of Kwame Bafo Abronye. Kwame Bafo alias Abronye. Now, nature of the reliefs being sought ni any when Abronye says Supreme Court Enshen Kamano. A. Declaration that the approval by Parliament to pay salaries to the first and second ladies is inconsistent with Article 71, clauses 1 and 2 of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, and consequently be declared null void, and unenforceable. B. Declaration that per Article 71, 1 and 2, the positions of the first and second ladies of Ghana do not fall under the category of public office holders. C. Declaration that per Article 71 of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, the Emolument Committee is limited to recommending the salaries and other benefits and privileges of only public office holders. 4. Declaration that per Articles 108 and 178 of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, Parliament cannot, on its own accord, initiate or approve payment of any such emolument which would necessarily be paid from public funds without a bill to that effect emanating from and introduced by the government and duly passed into law. The capacity in which the plaintiff is bringing the action is as follows. The plaintiff, which is Abronye, is a citizen of Ghana. The address Ewaha, and the name and address of the person affected by the writ is also as follows: Attorney General. And he signed Kwame Bafo, plaintiff herein. And these are the reliefs Kwame Bafo Abronye the Ako Supreme Court. Yebesha si yebenyano na afi yeneno edi enkomo, but Mamen Kwanamene, Associate Professor of Political Science and Director of the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana, Professor Ransford Jampo, Eni Enkomo. Yeba will get to speak to Abronye. Na fe Makai, the two NDC MPs in Omonso Supreme Court, no, Omonso the reliefs they are seeking from the court. Ne Omonso Emubakon Edi Enkomo. Prof, Akwaba na pomte saying.
Oh yeah.
Bibia Boko. Edanyamiase papa. Me you say enkomo a ene ekoso in the public domain. We beka in the court of public opinion no. Onso o adwenchira o bepesa o de betudwa. Edi kan the Emolument Committee report a recommend in part say yenhwe ne formalize payment a yedema first ladies and second ladies. Now see yebe ne salary crowd ya ma anka enye bad. I'm only quoting what is in the public domain. We don't have the benefit of the actual report into the atete and on ba etel saying
unim ade bakwa making kind obi I draw my attention to know is the fact that
Asempa FM
obi the Asemi Eko Supreme Court,
yeah,
or the court, you know, let's say obi omo the court there, and anka person make ko mature so mature so won adwinchire bebre,
yeah,
na you know me person ka yenyama court for na fe court for no enka na em say onipa na ye Abronye no why strategic pa em say ohun say NDC for no yes omo the beko court no no di nkan de contem na on person NDC for the best score any cheap political point here because that's me here asemwa what the court court here na o call by the argument say office holders na you see in Chomaka no money Article 71. I'm sure say it should be easy for the court to hear him out. Into them say on per se the friend is saying on per se
and this if one better sign on
and this is what we're taking the win out of your sale the court.
Yeah.
And you think and this is for the come the can you
but unim say interestingly, Prof, the I think two NDC MPs and one Ghanaian enso ekokoto inti from amonso omo rate amehuno almost say rate invoking the original jurisdiction of the court between Dafia Makpo Roxanne Nelson, first plaintiff, Dr. Clement Abasinat Apak, second plaintiff, and a Frederick Nikome, third plaintiff, versus the Attorney General. And essentially, no sure more reliefs or musiki, any Abronye the NSWA. They are almost similar. I don't know, say court never come you know so
well, okay, so Abronye the na better public. We want our come but the na top problem. Let me share with you. Papa me say person catch up say obeja pa mind this for the and then kono abe na ade. Na I mean say esan some the court nti no. Me say metie na ema as a na but I don't want to make further comments on that again. But me person me can say amanyo ku bia eba government mu a ade ba ko a eso mu hu and say omonso employ the services of some people are referred to as political strategists. Oh, so for political strategists. Now what political strategists are obetu for afa win na ho. San se mu nya samwa anka se ye ka no Ghana nansen anase sisi ya aban a owosu afiansan government is yet to be fully formed. MMDC is informed ye. If anything, governing councils and boards for they are not constituted and other things. This is the time and been more demonstration. I can't send be to fix the country. Say, mind my day. This is the time and been more salaries put in 2 years. And so I say because of other extenuating factors into petrol fuel prices, they be near tomb. You're too quite say you're too quite a monkai near Costa and as for. You know, Maria, a mere day in Kakra. And yes, that time means our political strategists are or Becatcher say, Empo. You see, Adrian Tate, you know, maybe Adrian Tate, you know, William said the whole idea was mooted by Jerry Rawlings. Jerry Rawlings, no, can say, call for now. I'm penning that for a with mind so that omuyenom etiase ne ase satam as omotiase to say purpose no and so mine no APP at the moment or mine show enti Rollins shase no shase fi Kwame Nkrumah eyebe so fatia Nkrumah and the shase fi no so eye ya bisi fulera liman so osho mu nyina let me say so adwin eye. Let me say, oh yes, I need to be the Kunedo Admiral Rollins or no, a certain president and a head of state together. And subsequently, no, it's gone on. I assume a certain president, you know, Yama or Moye no more allowances in them for. I dream a teacher for the wives of the departed heads of state, you know, Nanke. But here they certain presidents, you know, the said. Against it, and I don't want to rehash it. But who are political strategists? As any American, simple. A combat say say at the side na certain presidents. No, elevate you from getting allowances to salaries and the timing was wrong. A political strategist will tell you that next time in oh, you are opening yourself up to needless criticisms, and they are, and this is not the first time. This current regime easily opens itself up to the opposition and to needless criticism. I'm supposed to say, if they get the services of a political strategist, so that in MPO or and some other to Ghana, it will be analyzed properly to know that whether the timing is right or the timing is wrong. But I think generally, if somebody has taken or some people have taken this matter to court, and they are hope said there will be some redress and finality to the matter. But the other thing will be, said starting under Rollins, and Rollins took the decision to take care of former first ladies, second ladies, with this current recommendation, what was your understanding? And he said,
improve or move from allowances to salaries. Would this also affect all other former first ladies and second ladies?
Mr. Kai's recommendation actually focused on certain spouses. The spouses of certain presidents. The spouses of certain vice presidents. I'm not too sure whether they looked at the spouses of departed presidents and also elevated them to the salary. I see a report on honor. Now, I'm saying a lot of criticism and Abano is the spouses of the certain president and the spouses of certain vice president. I'm saying people have expressed. There's been several contrary views that have been expressed. Even if you Papa as in you have to bring them to the fray of the Article 71 office holders. Now, yes, then we can properly budget for them. And before that decision will be taken, not just Ghana through their representatives in Parliament, may have approved of that. And but if it be the cockwater, I don't want to rehash the issues. I mean, I have so many imponderable objections to that, but I don't want because you're the cockwater. But the point is that the regime would cause needless disaffection for itself if it does not employ the services of a political strategist to advise it as to the timing for the release of certain information and the timing for doing certain things.
That is if they don't have one yet.
That is if they don't want. Some more be the in the because I don't even know why we say one casa will ready to chairman and the other court. Well, it tells you that it's not the best. It tells you it's not the best. Some will be the in the pacono as well unity. It sounds one young.
Prof, the other thing, and forgive me, the committee, Emolument committee report nankasano. Maybe when you be a kind.
We've Kenka is just sniped me full report yet, but on say maybe a catchy mammy and the ayaka
because I just wanted to be clear about what exactly they recommended. First ladies, second ladies, what exactly and how much is involved. Those things.
The idea from where the credible sources are many or more Akasa Matano has been is that first and second ladies no more allowances anyway, and why don't you regularize it into becoming a salary? There's a difference between allowance and salary. And Moji anyway, as I say, regularize it and as for. But meaning this that's the way to go, and I'm not surprised about the uproar that has come. Say na political strategies the Uncle Becca say Moji allowance in getting the Munye Dina or Munche Hadis na that's in a matter 2 years, then we can bring about this discussion. As the wives of the president and that of the vice president. Almost who said almost then they become public officials, and now they are going to be open to public scrutiny. So they are politicians.
Yeah.
Obasha, Mampeni yere amam fontan kano ho asem scrutinize na papa. Mampeni abedi chiri yere amam for entan kano asem scrutinize na papa. But when you get into this, then you would have no public life. You would have no private life again. Because public officials are supposed to operate in what we call goldfish bowls. They don't have private lives. Because here they are secretary, can't just say whom we be able. And on say to the beer, no, not to say you have a certain deference and respect for them. So be it and not say for. But the moment about a public official, not to say you have to open the person up to rigorous public scrutiny. I mean, this one area recommendations, ABR they avert their minds to this. Actually, at the back also in constituting boards and commissions, committees, I told the beer minimum the criteria that are used. Allow us to West Wagon and some by commissioner you set up. They are mostly lawyers. political scientists biya enim. So idea course no na nye sheda nye law. It was purely politics. Obashano obi wa excel in his field or in her field as a scientist. Yeah, you share and dear be emphasize on Ukraine akofan say ono ni ombeye member and now number chair. Bon, sap idea
Ekosiisen
that work you me did say the political scientist be umwa and columns be to me advice even with respect to the timing of the release of the report and all manner of things. And I say even the recommendations no more political scientists be move to me at the bring the political scientist perspective to bear on the work of the committee and as a commission. But you have constituted committee in the commissioner. I think the appointments or the constitution has been driven by the usual partisan favor. Oh, as a political appointment, the more be a political grace, will be to be and as for. But yeah, several many year. We should also rethink the caliber of people we appoint to constitute commissions and committees to ensure that they have the various requisite expertise and competence to be able to handle the matter so that when they proffer recommendations, the recommendations will not open you, the one who set them up, to needless criticisms.
I get you. Prof, my yana senior fine see inti Bibiania would come back and talk. Why? Yeah, that's a pa. So Professor Ransford Jampo and Amotin Associate Professor of Political Science my alma mater, the University of Ghana, and Amotesi and ED and Como. Ekosiisen suni higher sempa 94.7 FM. Enti send them the kind any Abronye so because I've read narrate no Eddie Amamo what he's seeking from the Supreme Court. Sounds so and 2 NDC MPs plus one other Ghanaian so I'm also go Supreme Court on similar issue said the Abronye the economy. But before say Obeba Homano so the way say Obi, if the president or the vice has 2 wives, are we going to pay all? Fred in Dodowa. Fred, I honestly don't know. Good afternoon, Obi. President Akufo-Addo in reality doesn't want an NPP government. Okay, by his that's also not fair. Minim nipa one for wudi anka we home. But let me see the other one here. Obi, I am against the timing of this salary for the first and second lady. But we all know the mother and baby unit at Konfanochi was built with the help of the first lady, Auntie Rebecca. Today, that unit is generating funds for the hospital, I guess. How many of that fund will go to the first lady? The wise will understand the import of my message. We talk too much. Nana Amponsa Bediakon and Ono Ediwei Abba, and he's in Ablekoma Central. Kwame Bafo, Bebrena friend Abronye. Kwame, Akwaba net saying.
Major Obi.
Hey, now I don't know Gachi. Your studio had your have you on.
Well, my great Druba Biano Home Kakra.
Now Home Kakra. Umuanu you be a Pie Kakra.
Woman, they said, me colleague Benye or ye shadi, but in Kakanga, woman in my Pie Kakra. See them on party for none in some Wahum.
Yeah. In your mama acquires a rest Kakra on. Now, what home is Yamina?
Maybe free 2015 in a minya that young woman that.
Oh, okay. Now, what home is Yamina Supreme Court, there were money.
No, me that's it, baby. My men for Quenya na menchia wati for baby or Filicasi and Koduru. Supreme Court, there so a Daruma said ye well nimno. Your home Supreme Court and Supreme Court so my any court to be a woba bia. Say, Yempesa de Marabese and said, na and Marason near the Church mine. You been Koya as a so corner Supreme Court na yin your constitution ye pee a board gratula and say and then our minor. The single document here. Yemfanya Juma, Niemfanja Chiri Yamano, the Bibi Yina Yadrina, as he a coho. Now, a single document and as soon as say, Yantibi Biasia Yanko, now or more constitution, Amo Mutumin, or Munchemu, and Yademfanchre. Until Yakohon, a brana bo 12 p.m. at the court 9, and Yamam, you know, and I'm at the court 9 Supreme Court to and net the DA. Nedi kan first and second ladies wɔn salary ho nsɛnsɛm a mmarahyɛbadwa the 7th parliament no approve ye ɛna ne ɛtɔ so mmienu so the double salary ho nsɛm a mmarahyɛbadwafoɔ bi a mmerɛ bi atwa mu na wɔn san yɛ asoafoɔ ɛwɔ ɔman Ghana wɔn gye akatua na ɛbra na wɔn yɛ asoafoɔ na wɔn san yɛ mmarahyɛbadwafoɔ ne nyinaa no mefi sɛ ɛne ɔman no yɛn mmara no ɛbɔ abira deɛ de akɔdan wɔn sɛ Supreme Court no hwɛ na ɔnka ho asɛm.
Oh, okay. Enti menya 2 rates ni nyinaa. Enti yen here from the first one, I mean Sakai, which is first and second ladies, dear no.
Okay.
We are near about second one. Enti first and second ladies, dear no. O basis for
Osha Article 71 cross 1 and cross 2 na. Eniema hodoɔ ɛna wɔn di constitution ne baayɛ no wɔn kyɛ mu mmienu obisa ɔhwɛ cross 1 na akyerɛ mpanyinfoɔ bi a wɔn wɔ ɔman Ghana mmerɛ bi so anaa mfie 9 bi so sɛ wɔn kɔ a yɛbɛma wɔn ex gratia na saa mpanyinfoɔ no ɛyɛ mpanyinfoɔ a wɔn ex gratia no ɛyɛ bi a speaker deputy speakers chief justice auditor general ɛne ne deputy electoral commission for shrad ɛna ɔmo keka ho National Council for Higher Education Public Service Commission
National Media Commission
Media Lands Commission ɛna National Commission
for Civic Education
wɔmo no sa wokan Article 71 cross 1 na mfie 9 no so a mpanyin committee na ɔbɛpaw no Sa committee ni na kyerɛ sɛ yɛmfa sɛ ma speaker ne deputies yɛmfa sɛ ma chief justice ɛne ada superior court judges bi a wɔn ka ho bi ɛne srage mpanyinfoɔ ne electoral commission NCCA ɛne lands commission for ɛno no deɛ ɛyɛ mampanyin committee na ɔbɛteɛ no so wɔn de recommendation ne ba na mampanyin no ɛde ɛyɛ adwuma na wɔma approval ɛno no ɛnkɔ mmarahyɛ bedwam. Na mom sa okay Article 71 cross 2 na eno so akire nkrofo a the same mfie 9 no so a wo mo a eno nso no omampanyin committee obetie no eno no omampanyin ni tumi se obeka se mfie 9 na me kro no sei na medie oti committee ni wie na so mo do mo recommendation ba asweye anan krabaka wo tumi se committee ni recommendation no obedi atum no parliament eno ya Article 71 cross 2
yes
eno no ye ministers wo makatua a wo mo bedie vice president na katua council of state na katua deputy ministers wo makatua ene saa na o mahyehyɛ no mampanyini na bedi akire ministers na o bedi akirefo council of state for and categories we no one recommendation no o mampanyini na na danko akofo adu ni to me say obeye den obema approval uni nienti at the framers of the constitution ye ne sa no nienti o mo ye ne sa no say o mampanyini ka ho bia odie nti so o mampanyini no kokoma approval dia ne kese conflict of interest bia ye den aba honom so what am I saying Enunti and the framers of the 1992 constitution it na hu se no sa committee ni na djuma wia enye na nado enye mampanyin na oteso no ana the current president no na 2 minutes and say obedi decide say me ye president me die ni dabi eno no ye committee ni na recommendation say na mampanyin die say na council of state say na deputy ministers o makatua no ma allowance no mo ex gratia eno no aswoye wo to me say obetima ma approval no constitution actually say only parliament
that's true
parliament ne betimi aye the ama approval say ex gratia yemfama ministers say enti sa article 71 cross 2 no parliament gina so di ma approval no so hwe sa parliamentary approval na
Sempa FM
enum ana ekokọ ba say Professor Ntiam Wabedu ne recommendation na mmarahyɛbadwa di to mu no, including that of the President, Council of State, ministers, of state, account, and omo say, yemfa mampanyini for woma ho kafo yende enka ho ni entu omoka. Ukai Article 71 cross 1 and cross 2 na committee biya o mampanyini be paw ana ebe ye adwuma no sa committee no say under cross 1 ya oye adwuma duru cross 1 ya say obo break. Sasuna committee na ebe ye adwuma under cross 2 no oduru cross 2 a on contra o kwatra pe ne say constitution no o pa say amendment abam ana wo insert niam bia enye ne Ghana for agiatumu enti sa recommendation na enya subsequent approval by parliament na professor ntiamwa bedu ni committee no oya adwuma bia na ene 1992 constitution no article 71 cross 1 and cross 2 no ebo abira na mmarahyɛbadwafoɔ so a ɔmo no ɛma approval no woman take into consideration say committee ni to me enti obi a obegyina baabi aka say because of your maimu ha no obi adi ni say asemba ye ditro na Ghana 40 ye no obi obegyina baabi aka say na nado danko akofo ado atwa sika di ama ne yira twa bia ma bo mi ayira. I am telling your authority say Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo has no mandate to give any approval so far as Article 71 cross 2 no aya concern. I am Rasebega. Rasebega na akwa omade. But because of say under the administration of Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo ntino, ebinuma ka kire omonkrofo say wokwa akokasa na okwa radio ni TV a monkasa na Nanado atwa katua de ama first ladies and second ladies for. But the parliament is not Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo. Parliament is not Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And to Sajumana parliament motna si ye no ewie Sajumana na me question committee media I a recommendation awie recommendation there is something like suggestions and I'm a what enti me pa ana me diatum enti ebisa parliament say Ghana parliament say obi the recommendation ba recommendation is not binding. Parliament ebetima review a bra omu go process in so a womu pese omu approve recommendation they can review one betima expunge certain portions if you a recommendation no mo nti e ba ni sign na parliament enim say Article 71 cross 1 and cross 2 no etiana parliament ma approve.
Ma for the benefit of Omua etie you know, ma men kind verbatim what the constitution says. Article 71 clause 2. Constitution says the salaries and allowances payable and the facilities available to the president, the vice president, the chairman and other members of the Council of State, ministers of state and deputy ministers being expenditure charged on the consolidated fund shall be determined shall be determined by Parliament on the recommendations of the committee referred to in clause 1 of this article. And that committee in clause 1 the committee to be set up will be done by the shall be determined by a committee of not more than 5 persons appointed by the president in accordance with the advice of the Council of State.
From what you have just read, why they want to me to approve the salary of the president, vice president, and the deputy minister, Council of State? Why?
It's the Parliament of Ghana.
So into a week near 4 days near and another Danko Akufo-Addo and another said they want to do politics, almost political points. Anybody to me no Mrasebega for no mona to me Nikitamu say yen tum because it is not embedded in the 1992 Constitution. And to me, no, Parliament, when a entrenched provision, sorry, Article 71. Cross
Ekosiisen
1 and
on
cross 2
Asempa
na
FM.
entrenched provision. And the Abronye saying na Parliament, I take a decision. That decision, no, a decision. They were trying to amend Article 71. I am called referendum.
Okay, but Kwame, before you took the decision, sir, Udiwebe Court, Supreme Court, the highest court of the land, the Professor Beidu Committee, you know. Omu report one kasa when you be a kind. Have you read the report?
Oh, my reader, but me no kasa to see me interest. Oh, that's it. My reader, but me interest if you attack the report or the recommendation, I was Supreme Court and hold.
Maybe the other say, I asked that question because Parliament approved the report, and you are saying, sir, Parliament should have been minded by provisions of Article 71, 1 and 2.
Exactly.
Say, the recommendation is contrary to provisions under Article 71, 1 and 2.
Yes.
And Amebusa say, did the recommendation specifically say, first ladies, ni second ladies, no? You recognize them as Article 71 office holders and nah.
The professor in Tiamwa recommendation.
Is that what they wrote?
No. That recommendation no and yen say parliament the year Juma.
No, me no, I said the American say Professor Beidu Committee, you know. Did they write specifically in black and white? Say first parliament, ladies and second ladies.
Parliament in say and black and white Qur'an. Parliament will base their approval on the Intiamwa committee report.
Yes, I know.
Parliament now to mean transing confined to my BVM. So what I say, Parliament, you know, addition and also alteration piano. Nina Koko, we say Parliament did something contrary to the provisions in Article 71, cross 1 and cross 2.
No, but the point I am making is ABA Parliament having been seized with the report, no, and what the specific recommendation was, no, thought say this
Parliament made a mistake. He said,
now why not you who report, no?
That is why I'm in all I am attacking the work of the Parliament.
But why would you, on what basis now attack you on work, no?
On work, on basis say somebody recommended and a certain report to buy. And I mean, can catch us, say, approve and bar. Approve and bar.
Yes.
Parliament to work. Every right is on by rejected. And
yes.
some by additions.
Yes.
But some by additions here. Addition should be in line with Article 71, cross 1 and cross 2. And
America say, on what basis have you concluded, say, what was in the report, the recommendation itself, and any possible additions or omissions are, of course, you know, run variant to what is in here?
The necessary documents here, make what tender. Parliament gave approval.
I know.
Parliament gave approval, say, first and second ladies, you know, and that approval, no more yo majuma, no more consider Professor Intiamwa Beidu Committee. And I think that in doing that work, you know, they exceeded their jurisdiction.
Now, the Amibu says, Parliament, Emma approval, say, first ladies and second ladies, Yentia or Moka. Did the recommendation say, Yentia or Moka as Article 71 office holders? And was that the specific recommendation?
And even I am telling you, sir, that approval from Parliament, you know, Parliament cannot by their own say, Yentia or Moka, because Article 71 cross 1 and 2 now. One more constitution is say more bibieno. First and second ladies and follow under and the constitution is also Article 190 and Article 195 now. But yesterday say first and second ladies, one more office in your public office. You read Article 190 in conjunction with Article 195.
Okay. And you think, and now we can say who document bini adi our tender in are they
the Supreme Court to begin it.
yeah, minimum. Are there documents that are different from the committee report? Where a different document be?
My young case in Pampin wouldn't say the Missy Yamaduma, a beer, parliamentary hands at Miss Anya Manibia, those who are Omono media now, Womono FZ, they want to do politics near media space in Nanado, Womon Sam Omokaye, and some down Moka say Yamfama Nano, Wamachu Omo, Ayomo, and Mago Konekone. Nina Bakenda, but me fee say, Nina Bakako, say, the Supreme Court remember vivid interpretation on Article 71 cross 1 and 2. Then Oma Fanante 190 and 195. Nia say that particular work, not Parliament. I will to me and na him and under the 1992 Constitution, you specify say first lady and second ladies, a public office. Now that's the issue.
Okay, Kwame, as we speak, in all the documents you have, I will bet tender Pampe or Supreme Court,
A chain, Tamana, your friends have some body,
Does it include the committee report? Because committee report, does it include the committee report?
Near Parliament, parliamentary work on this particular report comments here,
but we need report, Nankasa.
Report, no. Oh, we also only report to be a medibama.
Into who report, Nankasebi?
Oh, Mr. Medibama. Open in there, Medibama, Menuria, Medibama.
Okay, because yes, this is the Supreme Court, and I know say you are aware even better than I do.
Oh, I know the son from that. From that to how.
Okay, it is a who report. That's also what kind of specific recommendation, and you are still clear.
So far as this issue is concerned, report no crane in Shada Enya, but permit Mamma must can the amount.
Okay.
Okay. So far as I say, when report is just a mere recommendation, and a parliament accepted. So I'm attacking the work of the parliament.
I know. Say you are.
Can the constitution vivid demand the panel won't say?
No, that point.
No, you see, me file 12 p.m.
Yes.
NDC MPs. Eba file 1:40 p.m. In their release, so when a press conference they attack Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo say na approve salaries Ediama first ladies and second ladies. But when these same MPs echo Supreme Court to 1:40 p.m. nowhere in their release, and Amoka say the Supreme Court should declare null and void the approval by President Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo. Babian wo, no, they attack the president. But Supreme Court mu release one can Babia president approval into no press conference in Ghana for say Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo a Katriama and Kwamukwa Supreme Court and tia say Kroma yetiano and this ni kasem trewa et send ye obidia nua gu wani.
But
read their release. They had a press conference yesterday attacking the president. So but the name the same MPs are in court. But Omantiman Kase Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo ne approval for salary of first and second ladies, the Supreme Court should declare same as null and void. No. Now you are running away from what you said in the previous days.
Obviously, in court, they cannot say that because the Constitution is clear. The Constitution is clear.
We are not safe as a nation.
No, Nyabotre. In the media, we are many. Some of the plaintiffs, in that case, maybe didn't come.
I'm talking about the press conference omo ye nora so omo call ye adantina nnede wo call court no wo enura metie omo na wo join him sister station all over the nation wo commentary na omo ye say president and na mo call court no ye president dimbiem ade na asi ye bisa ndisi for wo catch na omo communicator say mo duru radio so a mon kasa na madu danko akofo ado atwa ama ne yire ama bayi ba omia yire bi enne de NDC na eye den eye o madwin say opposition Jesus Christ for say ye de protect public purse the same NDC for na mo ye demonstration say mo ntia say Supreme Court tata wayomi the same NDC for na Mutata Matiamidu, our Pania construction, 94 million euros. The same NDC for defend the water quickly, and that they are you are protecting the public purse.
Kwame, you better call the next rate you filed at the Supreme Court. So, but my final question on this one would be, sir, are you clear in your mind, said you okay, and say in the reliefs you are seeking from the court, no? The report, the committee report doesn't matter. Are you clear in your mind on that?
What I'm saying is a declaration, Article 2(1), no, a declaration. I mean, say me feel say be inconsistent
with the Constitution.
Me feel say be inconsistent with the 1992 Constitution. So at the end of the day, no, what the Supreme Court will say, Nya de buy provisions na ya invoke ni nyina no. Within the jurisdiction ambeka ho asem. Interpretation. If the Supreme Court can say be first and second ladies, a public office, they deserve a salary. Many wine.
Okay.
And no interpretation in at the end of the day Ghana
okay. Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
Inti ma yemra the second rate. And this time, the writ is against some members of parliament. And my mention number, I think I see Honorable Haruna Idrisu, Honorable Al-Hassan Azong, Fifi Fiave Kwete, Eric Opoku, Abdul Rashid Hassan Pelpo, Emmanuel Amakufi Boa, Edwin Nilante Van der Poy, Mark Owen Woyongo, Comfort Doyo Kujogansa, Aquinas Teria Kwansa, as part of the defense, the way money MPs, and Attorney General and the Controller and Accountant General, and so a part of the defendant, and a plaintiff, and also the reliefs you seek, say, declaration that the first and 10th defendant receiving double salaries, quote, that's double salaries in quote, as members of parliament and ministers of state, deputy ministers of state between the period of 2009 to 2016 from the consolidated fund is inconsistent with Article 98 of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic and consequently be declared null, void and unenforceable. B. Declaration that per Article 98 of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, without the express permission of the Speaker of Parliament acting on the recommendation of a committee of Parliament, the first to the 10th defendant receiving double salaries from the consolidated fund between the period of 2019 to 2016 is unconstitutional, null and void. C. An order the Honorable Court directing or compelling the first to the 10th defendant to pay to the government of Ghana or into the consolidated fund the double salaries received as members of parliament and ministers of state or deputy ministers of state between the period of 2019 to 2016. Abronye, my first question to you would be, sir, have you confirmed, because we're told, sir, investigations were underway, have you confirmed, sir, indeed, these guys you name edge a double salary?
I have all the statement here. To the CID, admissions and everything. Admissions and everything. And based on their own statement, wo mo twereye ewo CID headquarters Accra no e kire say suban o mo da na die no enye suban papa na 1992 constitution ebu abira and sankrofo we no admit and what the criminal side na stealing but me dey me feel say ye 1992 constitution no pefe wo ho say so we ye mrase bedwaniya eni kwan say wo hodu opa obetima kenkan 98 no ama ya hwade ama tiefu atibi before answer na obekenkan no o se wo ye mrase bedwaniya wontimi hodu any private or public officer ubenya adokodoko de ayeden afiri mu and this is speaker a permitted so what you say and ntina ye name obi as a minister or deputy minister yes as say enya parliamentary approval na kese permission ni bi no wo kwa akoya adwuma public office so what you say and tisa wo kwa the moment ya wanya permission to work ewo sa public office no wakatua a ye de ma as a deputy minister and as a minister of state no ebe follow under article 71 clause 2 which you just read.
Ekosiisen on
Asempa FM. The moment you have been appointed yama approval from parliament no now start a year juma as a minister of state and a deputy minister no wakatua follow under article 71 cross 2 yenya katua bia mfiri ba bia bia now samba what just katua na was article 71 cross 2 na when our allowances, salary and everything will be determined by parliament no what you don't come back as a MP of a man pen from constituency amedi akatuafo from a Ghana phone tuaka under article 98
but maybe the NSA 98 yeah article 98 is clear and I will read that. Miriam Mebusa me questions and me person Mebusa. 98 near emolument of members. One, they say a member of parliament shall be paid such salary and allowances and provided with such facilities as may be determined in accordance with Article 71 of this Constitution. Two, a member of parliament shall not hold any office of profit or emolument, whether private or public, and either directly or indirectly, unless permitted to do so by the Speaker acting on the recommendations of a committee of parliament on the grounds that A, holding that office will not prejudice the work of a member of parliament, and B, no conflict of interest arises or would arise as a result of the member holding that office. That's clear.
Minister say MP at the same time minister 71 cross 2 so constitution
but my point is and Abronye say there is criminal and civil in this your case, you know. You've moved
the civil one.
Yeah, and
criminal,
you've moved.
You're stealing under section 24 of the criminal
I get
offenses.
I get that. I get that.
Me civil one say the Supreme Court should declare.
I get that.
Null and void. Say right from day one now, it's inconsistent with the provisions of in the 1992 Constitution.
I get
and
that.
For that matter,
you've invoked the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court.
Yes.
And I was stating articles in tier YSI invocation. No, my question now would be, sir, because from Unsema Wakenyano, you concluded, sir, omoji double salaries based on statement omodema the CID. In those statements, you claim, say, omoye admissions be.
Yes,
but yes, but obi statement awaye diama CID cannot be explained to me in sending pani guilty. No.
But and no dear. So far as a CID document, a public document.
Yes.
Nani panin deny say any document, the respondent or defendant involved in them say those documents cannot be used against them.
Yeah, but the point is say
you sign a document so far as that document is emanating from you. No,
no, but the document in question, which is statement or the CID, say a court, it will be treated more like an exhibit in court. Ain't you the bar? Yes, una waka sadie we I na there be.
I mean in baby I would do don't forget to say. Don't forget to say Sankrofo we no more employee numbers here. That is why I have made the controller and accountant general as a defendant, because the records also from the controller accountant general clearly shows that na Sankrofo we no nyina no mo gi double salary. And so no be deny na. Okay, but me dia make na controller and accountant general at the two various bank account kokoyi. This is your own bank account. And also we deny your own bank account with your pictures, your everything, your withdrawals and so on and so forth. I get that point, but the American is say the contention the exhibit no, but hold on, Kwame. My final question is the contention now, and since this issue broke, now they say whether indeed omoje double salary and that's omanye double salary. Omakwa koyo statement to CID. Isn't it a court of competent jurisdiction in Kwane Betimi determine if indeed having been seized with the fact, But the Supreme Court is a court of competent jurisdiction. Ama invoke Article 98. Now me say inconsistent with Article 71 cross 2.
Yeah, but the reliefs,
jurisdiction to determine.
Yeah, but we reliefs,
of competent jurisdiction.
I know. But we reliefs, no one can baby. You've not called on the court to determine whether MPs wage a double salary and that's all money. It is not part of your reliefs.
First to 10th respondent, woman salary or more release or more G, court will declare as not employed. A declaration. And I name the first respondent to the 10th respondent.
Yeah, almost salary no more G, court then declared as null and void.
Exactly.
And before the court does that, the court would have to establish if indeed omoje double salary in poor.
That is why a court, the controller and accountant general are on the tree is a defendant. And me, I made me case equal. As I'm making me case, my Supreme Court will say yes, indeed, they were taking those salaries. And I'm a any payment are not all yet into their various bank accounts. And also no and that's a moment boy. Because I made me case equal. And men rely on somebody say I'm relying on the defendants to prove my case. As I said, prove my case, not the best, activity to the defendants.
Yeah.
In proving that, I have documentary evidence.
Okay, into you did not find it necessary, say, as part of the reliefs, Anka, you would call on the court to determine, having been seized with the fact, say, indeed, in Kofu, we double salaries. Why was not
declaration? Say, you can't say null and void. Know, the one null and void, say, bad right from the onset. What you say? Void, no. Void, say, right from the onset, our payment now. The second, the controller and accountant general at the moment, void. Void is the moment the Supreme Court, Ebeka say, relief or hold in holding relief, say a yampa, one more salary pay documentary evidence, no more deny a void is I can say no one one relief Ebeka from questions now will be sending in because the Supreme Court nyaka say yes indeed relief one ya granted you see declaration that omun declare null and void. Let us say right from the onset near not payment ya no omun dibiana papa. And even the first relief sukrano answer questions in
Okay, that's fair. I mean, let's leave that to the court to declare. Said Yawokano say
Don't forget also say me will room for amendment.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely. But I said you can say every evidence to back up your case to prove say indeed omoje double salary no. Oh ni nyina.
Bank accounts na being said ya. So controller na any payment.
Yes.
And to control there so many ways of killing a cat. As someone said, we can compare the controller and accountant general to produce to the court payment here to these MPs from 2009 to 2016. Obi, ready and yet why?
Oh yeah, I get you. I mean, I get you into. Let's see how it goes. Of course, file almost your defense, but I know see.
Ready because I maybe Manu within the 14 days, name the court was a town.
But from we investigations, they will factor no evidence. I will nipa 10 year penalty double salaries no.
That be central room for amendment, you know, because another document to be back and your bra made me main statement of case cry and young coy.
Yeah.
And to me main statement of case be record to them was a kikrano. Not just say Adam Crophobia or Mokahona amendment na Musa.
Kwame Bafo Abronye, my nasi, yebesi din komobio. Why? Yes, and he is the Bono regional chair of the NPP and Motene Nkano, a plaintiff in 2 cases before the Supreme Court. Bako Ono as plaintiff versus the Attorney General. The Etosumieno Ono as plaintiff versus 10 MPs, NDC MPs, the Attorney General, and the Controller and Accountant General. Interesting days ahead. But there is this other written at the Supreme Court. This time, 2 members of Parliament, 1 Ghanaian against the Attorney General. Nelson Dafiamakpo and Clement Apak.